Hello, BookTube. As you can see, we have a guest here in the little book room.
Free to let me visit.
Yes. This is Sarah from Steeped in Books. You've heard me talk about her channel many, many times. I'm going to link down below.
Sweetheart. Hello, sweetheart.
Frida has been alternated between being very nice and trying to kill her. As you can see.
All right, miss.
Oh, baby bee. Oh. 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 She gets very excited when she has guests. When she has new people to attack.
You're a good girl, aren't you? Yes.
But we've got some mail. And I never miss a chance to have help when I have mail. We've got 3 packages.
Ooh.
We'll just go through them and see what we have. What is this first one? I don't know this at all. Do you recognize this author?
No, that doesn't look familiar to me.
Oh, okay. All right. This is Calm Seas and Prosperous Voyage by Betty Howland. And I was glancing at her biography and I was thinking, oh, good for you, because it says she was born in 1937. Her first book was published in 1974. She's authored a number of other books. She received a Guggenheim Fellowship and a MacArthur Genius Grant. I'm thinking, good for her. And then the last line is she passed away in 2017. So,
sorry.
Yeah. So what on earth is this?
Still good for her.
It is good for her, yes. What kind of a picture do we have? Oh my, look at that.
Wow.
That is our author. You take one look at that picture and you immediately feel, I wish you were still here.
Yeah.
Wow, so what is this though? She herself was an outsider, an intellectual from a working class neighborhood of Chicago, a divorced single mother to the disapproval of her family, an artist chipped away at by poverty, breakdown, and self-doubt. Saul Bellow, a friend and advocate for more than 40 years, urged her to mine her deepest emotions and angst for her art. Okay, so these are short stories.
Oh.
Collected for the first time, I guess. Wow. Who was recognized as a major talent before all but disappearing from public view for decades. Okay, all right. It's a finished copy, so this has got to be soon. Do you have a date? Do you have anything useful to tell me? No? You told me she's dead. You're perfectly happy to share that information.
That is useful, though.
This is all blurbs. Okay, there's no information on this, but it's a finished copy, so it has to be soon. Wow, that is strange. Look at this. The puff sheet gives me the ISBN. Like I need that as a book reviewer, but it doesn't tell me when the book's coming out, which I do need to know. All right, well, anyway, I've never heard of this person before. If you have, sing out, let me know. Let's see, this next one is Wafer Thin.
Oh, those envelopes.
They don't ever work. Oh, fantastic. Okay. All right. We've seen this on this channel many times. This is Penguin is doing the Inspector Maigret novels of Georges Simenon. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Story of my life. Accurate.
This is Maigret and the Saturday Caller, but it doesn't matter. These things are great. They're an hour's read. There are 200 of them. They're all wonderful. They are kind of sort of interchangeable. He is one of those authors where, 2 years will pass and you will pick up one of his books and you won't remember until page 40 that you've already read it. But they're so good. They're so good. And the Paris that they capture, the mid-century Paris that they capture, a totally different world than what it is now. And the books capture it perfectly. And it wasn't Simenon's intention to do that. He was just photographing the reality around him because he was a lazy writer who was always on deadline for a new book. And it just so happens that he did it so well that these are like time capsules for a lost Paris. Right, so that's 2 for fiction.
Not a good Steve day.
Oh, I'd kind of like a gigantic Nazi book. Could I have a gigantic Nazi book? Let's see. We've got one more chance.
We're either for a romance. How about a Nazi romance?
A Nazi romance. The Sound of Music ruined those. Because Rolf sounds the alarm.
Yes.
We think he's not going to.
Yep.
We think that romance is going to claim him, and then he sounds the alarm.
Yep.
And nobody wants to do a Nazi romance after that. Because they're all going to turn out like him.
It's going to be horrible.
All the 20-somethings are saying, what? Are you talking about? What?
Yeah.
Who's Rolf?
What?
Sooner or later, in your social studies class, you will get around to an antique thing called The Sound of Music. And when you watch it, there's going to be a scene at the end that's going to break your heart. Because you're honestly thinking until that moment that love would win. And it wins everywhere else in the movie, but not that one moment. This is another naked hardcover. This is another one from Yale. The other day we got a book from Yale with no dust jacket. And here's another one. Maybe they're doing this with their scholarly stuff, thinking, why go to the extra expense when these things are going straight to libraries anyway? Okay. All right.
Sounds like something I read in college.
Yeah, it's not a romance novel, I'm afraid. It's by Kevin Sienna, and it's called Rotten Bodies, Class and Contagion in 18th Century Britain. So the closest this is going to come to a romance is The Clap. We want to keep our distance from that sort of thing. He is an assistant professor of history at Trent University.
Oh, that's in Ontario, I think.
Is it really? Oh,
yeah,
well, he lives in Peterborough,
It's in
Canada?
Peterborough. That's,
yes,
yeah,
okay.
I'm familiar with the area.
Okay. Well, Kevin Sienna has a specialty. So I'm not sure.
It's Murder and Death and Mayhem?
No, it's worse than that. This is Class and Contagion in 18th Century, but he is also the author of Venereal Disease, Hospitals, and the Urban Poor.
That was his romance novel.
I'm thinking romance didn't turn out well for him. Okay, so he writes all about venereal disease and filth and dirt.
And the plague.
So you have anything you want to tell me about Peterborough? What is this
It's a
place like?
lovely place. It's up in the Kawartha Lakes. It's beautiful. We had a cottage up there for 20 years. I can't talk anything on the school.
When you had your cottage there for 20 years, did you have any experience of venereal disease?
No. It was my grandparents' cottage. The answer is no. Oh,
Okay. The past is a different country. All right. So, well, this comes out in late May, and I'm sure that the title sort of gives it away.
Yeah.
Britain had no idea that it would not see another plague after the horrors of 1666. And for a century and a half after the fear of epidemic disease gripped and shaped British society, plague doctors had long asserted that the bodies of the poor were especially prone to generating and spreading contagious disease. Okay. And they were wrong about the socioeconomic part, but if you're filthy, hygiene definitely plays a role, and if you're wealthy, maybe you'll have a better diet. You might have better hygiene. I don't want to blame the poor for everything, but dense congregations of the poor in workhouses, hospitals, slums, courtrooms, markets, and especially prisons were rendered sites of immense danger to in the public imagination. And the fear that small outbreaks might run wild because of profound cultural force. Okay, but what are you going to say about that? That fear is not unfounded. What are you going to say about... Well, I guess I'll have to read it and find out.
Would it perhaps be like a history of...
Well, yeah, that's what it would be.
But that sounds...
I'm wondering, the class part in the subtitle makes me wonder what kind of connection he's going to draw.
Yeah, what...
You certainly can, right? I mean, no major plague ever started in a rich suburb.
No, because they had proper...
And distance from sick people.
Precisely.
All sorts of...
Precisely.
Well, I'll have to read it and find out.
It does sound interesting. I kind of have a thing for... I know the university.
You know the university.
It's a lovely campus.
Is it really? Trent University?
Trent University up in Peterborough, Ontario. It's beautiful. I mean, you couldn't pick a more pristine location. The lakes and the waterways and... Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I wonder if he's young. Well, anyway, that is the mail so far. We ended on a bit of a dodgy note, but it is history anyway. So we have rotten bodies, the poor, and contagious diseases. What do you make of that? What is the connection? What was the connection they made then? Maybe what is the connection that we have now? Of course, in America, it's the most expensively educated people in California who are en masse refusing to inoculate their children against measles.
No comment.
Yeah,
vaccinate your children, please.
Yeah, vaccinate your children. This is ridiculous. And if you choose not to, and the 10 other parents in your Facebook chat group all choose not to, you can infect a whole county in no time at all. That's what that's where plagues came from.
Kids that already have autoimmune diseases or like myself, who have an issue, if I caught it off of someone else, it could kill me.
Do you want Sarah to be dead?
Right?
Aside from her couple of trolls, probably you don't.
Yeah,
They're probably furiously typing
Yeah,
right
right
now.
now, yeah. We found her. We located her. Beep, 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 beep.
Send in the measles. So here we have. Oh my God! Was that a simultaneous
I think
snort?
so.
Oh no! Oh no! Book 2. That was a simultaneous snort. Oh my God!
What do you think of that, Bee?
She's thinking there are 2 of them in the room now.
Yeah.
Oh.
How do I make the one leave?
We've got Rotten Bodies. We've got Calm Sea and Prosperous Voyage, a collection of stories by an author I don't know. I'll have to check that out. In fact, I'll probably read this tonight once I'm done with my deadline work. I have deadline work, and then I'm free as a bird. And Maigret and the Saturday Caller, the new Maigret novel. So there you go. That was an assisted mail haul, and we had a name check for Canada. Right there.
Yes, we did. There was a Canadian connection in there.
Fantastic.
Right?
Ew. She hasn't done that all day. She hasn't done the stereotypical thing. The only thing that has been identifying her to strangers is oot
Out.
instead of out.
Out.
She hasn't been saying out. She's been saying oot. that caused the crusty shopkeeper.
Oh, she was lovely.
She was lovely. It's true. She was a little shell-shocked by how many reading romances I was buying. But you're going to see that because we're going to make a book haul video.
I think she thought that they were from me. Just teasing.
Could be. We should probably have gone with that line instead of oh, this is a little creepy.
Don't be ashamed of what you read. If you
No.
enjoy romance, enjoy romance.
And you'd think of bookstore people. She probably.
Of all people.
Yeah.
Right?
But we're gonna do that. I'm gonna leave a link to Sarah's channel down below in case those of you who don't subscribe, because you do. She does like 95% romance. Right?
Mostly.
But keep in mind what we've been saying for 2.5 years now, which is that you don't turn into a booktube channel for what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. You tune in for who they are, right? You're obviously not. If I get 5 books on Byzantine reform currency, I'm as happy as a clam, and all the rest of you are bored silly. But we're also going to do another video. We're going to do a video about our book haul experience today. I'll put that on her channel. So
Yes.
so, and we'll have to hope that there are no simultaneous snorts on that video.
I can't promise anything.
I can't either. But I'm going to wrap this up. But we'll be back. Thank you,
Thank you,
BookTube.
BookTube.